The Exchange on Deep Dive.
This evening on The Exchange, we focus our attention on the stumps, and I am, of course, talking about Zimbabwe cricket. If you were not aware, Zimbabwe is currently playing a test series against New Zealand, or rather, is it New Zealand versus Zimbabwe? A lot of issues are coming up, and there seems to be an apparent decline in the quality of Zimbabwean cricket, and as a result, we want to have this conversation. Many have said that Zimbabwean cricket is at the crossroads with potential for growth and a stark decline on the other hand. But formally, when you think about the Streak brothers, the Flower, Henry Olonga, I could go on and on. Yet this seems to be all a past memory. We're currently ranked 12th in Test and one-day cricket, and 11th in the T20s, and the team has not been informed. They've been off form and are struggling to win in all formats. Also looking at the ladies chevrons, they lost to Ireland, the chevrons to South Africa, and New Zealand was the under-19s, lost to Bangladesh and South Africa in the triangular series. To delve deeper into this, I'm joined by seasoned cricket analyst Dean DePlussis. I will also be joined by a passionate supporter of the Chevrons, Shepherd Changa, and Tapfumane Vivian Banire, chairman of the Zimbabwe Cricket Supporters Union. So we'll start off with Tapfumane, who's actually in Bulawayo. Tapfumane, good evening. How's it going?
Good evening, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. How did it go today? I mean, you're out there at Queen Sports Club?
Yes. I mean, I watched the boys play. Our bowling was excellent today. We managed to bowl out New Zealand for 309. They were almost 100 for 0 overnight. That was 92 for 0. But we managed to bowl them out, which was a very good bowling performance. Unfortunately, later in the day, we lost our two openers. So it's unfortunate in terms of betting, but the bowling was superb today.
Okay. It always seems, there's something. I like the approach that we're taking, even as a country, that we are, we're seeing the good and we're highlighting that. But it always seems that the result is not as pleasing. So on the second day, so at the end of it, Zimbabwe is trailing by 127.
Yeah, it's not looking good for us. This is looking like another 3 or 4 day test match, which is not good. We would want to play 4 to 5 days. But against the opposition like New Zealand, who brought in their best team, is going to be a very difficult thing to get into this.
So you talk about the composition of the team. New Zealand brought their best. Let's look at Zimbabwe and the current team that's been selected. What do you think of the selection process? Do you find it fair and meritorious?
I don't think it's fair. Sometimes it's fun. We have something that we players that we like, and some other people that we want to see. Stuff like that. The selector guys are watching this play every day. Coaches, they are with the guys in the net and see something different from. Sometimes the selected team that we may not even like. But most of the fans are their team and stuff like that. But our biggest challenge is that playing against top side or we are the top side. If you see the way and the way New Zealand is playing, even in the field, you see those are no way to New Zealand, the English. But the way cricket development and
so are you suggesting then that Zimbabwe should take on lesser teams? Which countries should we be playing then if we are to stay in our lane?
No, we must be playing these teams. Our teams are we looked like we caused Thailand, of course, we lost the match. But this is who we are as a cricket nation. But playing against England in England, playing against South Africa here, and playing Africa from the Test Championship. So we really needed this cricket in general. So we have this pause, and this will leave us at a point where we have to reflect and ask the pertinent questions to make sure that we fully develop cricket if we are to be competitive in this side.
Before we let you go to Pumane so that we can connect with Dean and Shepherd, we also made efforts to get a representative from Zimbabwe Cricket. Unfortunately, these efforts were fruitless, so it's a bit disappointing that we can't even hear their perspective. But nonetheless, what are your views in terms of the role that ICC is playing, maybe even looking at ZC? Is enough being done to protect the interests of all cricketing playing nations? Is there prioritization of the interests of maybe fewer, more powerful boards, powerful countries?
Cricket, yes, cricket internationally has never been fair. It's not like the big fish is most of the come from Australia, England, they all short. It's good like me. Because ICC looks at
Tafumane, unfortunately, the line is terrible. We can hardly hear you now. So let me let you go. Thanks so much for being part of the program and for sharing your insights. We will try and reconnect with you and hopefully we'll get a better line. But if you can hear us, thank you so much for your time and your expertise this evening. Do stay with us as we get into the second segment of this discussion. What is going wrong with Zimbabwe cricket? I will be connecting now with our second guest, Dean DePlussis, seasoned cricket analyst. And if you have your views, please do let us know on 0719 100 404.
Not too bad, thank you, Rumbi. How are things? Lovely song, that, by the way.
I played it just for you.
Oh, I love that so much. Thank you.
I know
I'll add
you
that
do.
to my collection immediately.
Well, Dean, we're back again. We were speaking yesterday after the first day of the series. Today's day 2, and it doesn't sound like Zimbabwe did any better. What was your perspective of the game today, of today's outing by the boys?
Yeah, well, I have to actually say that the bowlers were very, very good. They bowled with a lot of discipline, and they kept it very tight. What actually happened, really? So let's just quickly do a recap for you. New Zealand resuming at the overnight score of 92 without loss were bowled out for 307 shortly after tea, about an hour or so after tea on day 2 of this, the first test match. And it was Devon Conway, the opener, who top scored with 88. He played very patiently. And then Daryl Mitchell, I thought, batted incredibly well, batting at number 4. He scored 80 of 119 deliveries, which included 5 fours and a 6. And I thought the way that he manipulated and rotated the strike was absolutely outstanding. Blessing Muzarabani was the pick of the bowlers with figures of 3 for 73 in 26 overs, while Tanaka Chivanga, with his usual fire and aggression, picked up 2 for 51. It was also interesting to see that Vincent Masekesa, I'm so happy that he's back in this lineup. He actually bowled very nicely indeed. And then he picked up a wicket, but then there were also wickets for Sikandar Raza and Sean Williams. And Newman Nyamuri, he actually got the wicket of Daryl Mitchell when he bowled him for 80. But then at the close, Zimbabwe 31 for the loss of 2 wickets, losing both Brian Bennett and Ben Curran. So when they come out to bat again tomorrow, they'll be trailing by 127 runs. The 2 batsmen at the crease being Nick Walsh and Sean Williams, with Craig Irvin and Sikandar Raza. Hopefully will be able to try and score a few runs. So Rumbi, I have to say that Zimbabwe, I thought, bowled quite nicely. They stuck to their plans, and their plans were successful. The problem that Zimbabwe have is that first innings of yesterday, 149 all out. had they just maybe scored another 100 runs, then the deficit wouldn't be that bad. And now, unfortunately, having lost those 2 wickets already in Ben Curran and Brian Bennett, that obviously is a big setback. So, look, I think New Zealand are still very much in control of this test match, but it could have been much worse because in the previous test matches played at Queen's Sports Club, South Africa in the last test match scored well over 600 runs, and they declared, and in the previous test match they scored 418 runs. So the bowlers, and in particular Blessing Muzarabani, was very, very good. It's just now if the batsmen can hopefully dig deep and try and make a fist of it.
So we are still holding on to our breath. Something positive could come out for Zimbabwe, you think?
Yes, I do. I mean, at the moment, you probably say highly unlikely, but not impossible. So you have you have a very capable batsman in Sean Williams at the crease now. He would have been very disappointed in the way that he got out yesterday, playing the ball onto his stumps. But I mean, he's capable. You know, he's been scoring runs very prolifically for Zimbabwe. In the recently concluded series against South Africa, he made 137, and then he also got 83 not out. So, you know, but it's up to him. He is a very volatile individual. Is Sean Williams, has huge amounts of talent, but also has the ability to throw his wicket away. But it's the favour is still heavily in New Zealand's favour, but Zimbabwe do have the ability to hang on and to hold on, but it is entirely up to them. What they need to do is to get through that first hour. Remember, we spoke about that yesterday, to get that through that first hour, which was always a little bit tricky, and then batting does seem to come a bit easier after that. Now, if they do have the skill and the determination and the technique to get through that, then we could still have a test match on our hand. What we don't want is for Zimbabwe to lose 3 or 4 wickets in the session tomorrow, because if they do that, the test match will be done and dusted by tomorrow.
We certainly hope that we get a better outcome. But Dean, you know, I think even in the beginning of the conversation, we were speaking to Tapfumane Banire, and he also was bemoaning, you know, the decline in Zimbabwe cricket. What do you think the biggest threats to long-term health and popularity of cricket in Zimbabwe are, and what steps can be taken to try and ameliorate some of these threats?
Yeah, it's always a very touchy topic, this when we speak of the future of Zimbabwe cricket, because what we need to do is to go right back to the very beginning. So when the current board of Zimbabwe cricket took over in April of 2004, what they initially said they wanted to do was to open up cricket to no longer be an elite sport, a sport played amongst the elite. And I think we need to be a bit more specific here and a bit more honest with each other and say a sport that was played by predominantly white people, because that's how it was. Whether we like that or not, it's a relatively uncomfortable conversation to have, but it is the truth. So it was predominantly played by white people, with just a handful of black cricketers, you know, who were always there and thereabouts, and they're always struggling to get into the side. And so I think a lot of the true and genuine cricket population were very happy when there was a change, because what they believed was that cricket would now be open to the whole country. So whether you were born and bred in Chilocho, Kadoma, Kariba, you know, or were right here in Zivarasekwa, you would have a fair chance of representing your country. Cricket was no longer an elite sport, but unfortunately it still was and is an elite sport. So as much as it is now open to the majority or to the masses of Zimbabwe, it is still very, very restricted to the very strong club side called Takashinga, which is based in Highfield, as I'm sure most people will know. So the majority of cricketers that play for Zimbabwe and who are always in the mix, if you want to call it that way, to be called up and to represent their country, are from Takashinga. Now, I think it's also very fair to say that initially they were the cricketers, the players who were making strides in the right direction. Tatenda Taibu, Hamilton Masakadza, Stuart Matsikinyeri, Alton Chikumbura, to name but a few. Dagi Hondo, there were a lot of them who came from that area, and they deserved their place, Rumbi. They really did. They deserved to play, and they got their opportunities. But what a lot of people were hoping for was now for this net to be expanded way beyond the restrictions of Takashinga, because there's only really a handful of players from Matabeleland, from the Rhinos, from Masvingo, and from the outlying areas who get a look in. And, there's a couple of players who have put in one performance after another. Nkosano Mpofu, for example, from the Matabeleland Tuskers. He's always there and thereabouts, but he just continuously gets overlooked. And then eventually he'll be picked when he's past the best or past his peak and not in the form that he was, say, 3 or 4 seasons ago as well. So, and then there are also 1 or 2 Asian cricketers who have been overlooked as well, as opposed to, and then basically now just focusing on the Takashinga players who are playing. So when we were told that cricket was going to become a lot more accessible to everybody, which it had to happen, it hasn't really been as effective as what we would like it to be. But, it's a very touchy subject, Rumi, to be honest with you. So when you go down that path, you really have to tread very, very carefully without obviously upsetting a lot of people.
But sometimes a spade needs to be called a spade, because we are seeing, it's manifesting now. Maybe it's a symptom of a bigger problem, but it takes me to the next, sort of big elephant in the room. And I will also state once again that we did make quite spirited efforts to get a representative from Zimbabwe cricket to be part of this conversation. But we were given the runaround, and they saw fit not to be part of this conversation, be that as it may. Do you think that the current ZC board is sustainable? And does it favor cricketers? You talked about, those disparities already, local clubs in selection processes of teams. And is this leading to an uneven playing field?
It's actually been an uneven playing field for a very, very long time. But what Zimbabwe cricket have done quite cleverly and craftily is that so initially there was an outcry that Zimbabwe, the various respective teams aren't playing enough cricket. So Zimbabwe cricket then, after a couple of years, after not really doing too much about it, they've now changed that dramatically. And now suddenly we're seeing the Lady Chevrons, who have just got back from Ireland, and they're going to be off to Namibia in a little bit for part of the qualifiers, the World Cup qualifiers. There's then the World Cup T20 qualifiers, which are going to be played for the men here in Zimbabwe. We also will be co-hosting the World Cup in 2027. That'll be the second time that's happened. We will be co-hosting the 50 over ICC Cricket World Cup alongside South Africa and a little bit of Namibia. So, that's a huge feather in the cap of Zimbabwe. So Zimbabwe cricket will simply tell you that, look, I don't know how you guys can say that we're not doing anything wrong, because we're not. We're going to be co-hosting the World Cup. We've planned for the ladies to be playing a lot of international cricket. The under-19s are currently, doing battle with South Africa and Bangladesh in a triangular series. The men's side, they've been to England. That hasn't happened since 2003. They've been to Bangladesh, which they do quite regularly. Then they hosted South Africa. They are currently hosting New Zealand. Sri Lanka will be here. So they'll just simply say, we are organizing game time for the players. What more do you want us as a board to do? But then, so the cricket, and there's a very big difference here, Rumbi. There's the cricket, the person who likes and follows cricket, as opposed to the person who understands cricket. So the person who likes and follows cricket will say, yes, Zimbabwe cricket, you're 100% correct. You have ensured that these players are getting huge amounts of game time, which is exactly what the players need to improve themselves. But the reality is that the more cricket these players seem to be playing, their skills actually seem to be deteriorating as opposed to improving. So it's very similar to when you go to watch chickens being fed. When you're not using the organic chickens, these chickens are given 24 hours of light, and they are force-fed food so that they can be ready for production very, very soon. So basically these players are being force-fed. And again, it's a very, very select group of players. They're not expanding and widening the net to see which other younger players and lesser known players can come in to the equation. So it's a bit of a catch-22 situation. And is the board sustainable? If that's the route they're going to go, then no, they're not, because they're basically focusing on players that they keep recycling and recycling and recycling. And you remember what we spoke about last night, shuffling of the chairs on the Titanic, as opposed to trying to prevent the Titanic from sinking. All that they really are effectively doing is shuffling the chairs on the deck of the Titanic. So eventually these problems are going to start coming home to roost.
Yeah, so broiler, they're being treated like broiler hens.
That's the word, broiler, yes.
If I get you right. Well, I need to also lock on with Shepherd Dean. So before we let you go, outlook for the remaining number of days in this series and an outlook for Zimbabwe cricket.
So, look, you have to look for some positives. You know, I certainly don't want to be on this show and just badmouth Zimbabwe cricket continuously, because a lot of people have been doing that and they're not thinking before they speak, you know. So there's people who badmouth Zimbabwe cricket, there's people who badmouth perhaps people like Brendan Taylor, who are coming straight back into the side without playing any cricket, without giving it any thought. They just randomly say anything that comes to their mind. So I need everybody to know that that is not my intention in doing so. I'm trying to give as biased an opinion as I possibly can. So in terms of what happens, in terms of the cricket, we still have the remainder of this test match. Now, hopefully it will last until Sunday, if Zimbabwe can bat properly second time round. Then the next test match starts next Thursday. And then we host Sri Lanka for 2 one-day internationals and 3 T20 internationals at Harare Sports Club. And then it just continues. Then it's the T20 World Cup qualifiers. Then Afghanistan will be coming. You know, so it's going to be non-stop cricket until November, December, Rumbi.
Great, Dean. Thanks so much for your time and your expertise. And we obviously continue to support the Chevrons, and we wish them all the best in the remaining series against New Zealand. Thanks so much for your insights, Dean.
Thank you very much, Ruby.
All right, thanks so much. Now, do stay with us as we connect now with our last guest in this discussion, Shepherd Changa. He is a passionate supporter of the Chevrons, and we'll be hearing his views in just a moment. Remember, if you would like to have your say or your views on the state of Zimbabwean cricket, do you also agree? Do you feel it's declining? And maybe if you're hopeful, as Zimbabwe are playing New Zealand currently, in a series and a test series, and currently Zimbabwe is trailing by 127 runs. But this is not the first time. We definitely want to dig deeper and find out what is happening. Are there any other reasons behind this poor performance, and also what can be done going forward? So Shepherd joins us now in the conversation. Shepherd, good evening.
Hello, I'm hearing. Can you go ahead?
Yes, Shepherd. In your views, what are some of the key factors contributing to the decline of Zimbabwe cricket?
I think it's very easy. I think the problem is about selection and the management. It's like the management has been sort of been conquered by a group. It's like you have a situation whereby somebody controls the whole situation, but this group doesn't have the ability to control the situation, but they have the ability to control the situation, but they don't have the resources to manage what's happening at the background level, where everyone is supposed to, let's say you have a situation whereby the father just controls everything. He doesn't care about what the kids want and everything. So you have a situation one person controls sort of everything. So I think it doesn't make sense. I don't know if you are getting what I'm trying to say.
I'm trying to follow. So you feel that, there are certain people who are ill-equipped who are making all the decisions, and the ones who are equipped don't have resources?
Yeah, I think they have an idea about what I'm saying.
Okay.
It's not that they don't have, they have an idea, but it's like they just want their people to be in positions of power. So those people doesn't have the requisite ideas to manage things properly.
You talked about issues with the selection process. Talk to us a little bit about that. What are your concerns? Also, I know maybe your comments on the quota system, and the role that selectors are playing and how that is impacting Zimbabwe cricket.
Okay, I think I remember that way I said that you have a system where you have someone who is controlling everything, but the way he is controlling things, it's like he just selects those you want to be in power. So those people just are being selected, even though they are not able to just deliver what the reason they are supposed to deliver. Because when you select someone, it's like you have something that you expect from him, but you just select him because you know him. So I think that's the problem with that those people who are in power are selecting people, I cannot say on race or anything, but I think they are selecting people who don't deserve the job. It's like if I ask you who is the coach of the Mountain Rocks, you may not even know who is the guy. I don't know. Do you know who is the guy?
I actually don't, Shepard. I don't.
So that's the problem with our career, that people are just appointed, but they don't really deserve those jobs. But they are selecting people, they are appointing people who don't deserve those positions.
I hear you. So going forward, I mean, obviously, currently at the moment, we are in the middle of a test series that is already not going so well, if I heard right from some of the analysts that we've already spoken to thus far. And I'm asking you this, to solicit solutions, recommendations. Sakatoita say, as a passionate supporter, what recommendation can you make?
Okay, I think problem is, I think it's bigger than we think it is. Because we have people in power who have control. But these people who are in control, they don't even care about the results. Do you know we lost to Uganda? And Uganda even participated in the World Cup that we didn't even participate. And no one was even saved. So why you wonder why a guy like Mtendera Rumakon is given such roles if they don't know what their duties are? So it's like we have a problem where people in power have influence on what is impacting the game, but they don't care about the results. So we wonder what's really going on. Because if we are beaten by Uganda, I think we wonder. The point is, red should draw. People should be fired. But why? Why have we lost to Uganda? Do you know Namibia is not playing better than us. Even Uganda. Do you know when Uganda was playing?
They were ranked lower than Zimbabwe.
They are even, but the problem is ZC doesn't care about the results. They care about playing Takashinga guys. It's about Takashinga everything. Do you know Edwin Chigumbura, right?
Yes, I do.
Yes, okay. The other 19s, how are they performing right now as we are speaking?
They're not doing well.
They're not doing, but
they lost Bangladesh and to South Africa.
I'm questioning, why is this guy in this sport?
This is why we're having the conversation, but I mean, it's obviously been a sore point that we're not doing well in that regard.
No, the point is not that we are not doing well. The point is we have to think they are doing well. It's about their position. It's not about the results.
Okay, I hear you.
So it's like if you look at under 19s, you find that we have a very good competitive, and even the schools league produce a lot of good players, but those players are not being selected. Because those people who have their academies, so they select people from their academies to play in the under 19 national team. So it doesn't work. Because those people, I really don't know how they select those people. You wonder what's really going on.
So your outlook for the game before we let you go for the remainder of the series, Shepard?
Okay. If I have to ask you one question.
Okay. Go ahead.
Okay. If let's say we are playing against Uganda and we lose against Uganda, what's your opinion about it?
I'm hoping for the best.
It's not about hoping, but it's about the results. What's your position about it?
It probably won't go well. It probably will be a bad result.
Okay, let's say you are the managing director of ZC. So what would you do about it?
You know what? We would have loved for ZC to answer, and we asked them to be part of this conversation. I unfortunately cannot answer for them, but I hear where you're going, and I feel your pain. We'll connect with you very soon. Hopefully, we can get ZC to also be part of the conversation next time to answer some of these very pressing questions.
Okay, thank you, man, for everything. But I think these problems, I think they stem from this person where you think we have people who are in power, so they think they can decide everything, and they don't care about it as long as what they want is in place. So they don't care about it. So long those guys they want to play. So long those guys they want to be in management. I asked you about a simple question: who is the coach of Zimbabwe? You cannot ask. But those people are there because they were appointed. But the people who are appointed don't even care about the results.
No, I hear you. Thank you so much. And I hear your passion. I feel your pain. And all we want is for Zim cricket to be as the best that it can be.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Everyone wants that.
Everybody wants that. Yes, we do. Thanks so much. Have a good night. All right. Thanks. That's Shepherd there. He's a passionate Chevron supporter, and we were just taking a look at what has been happening in terms of the decline in Zimbabwe's standards when it comes to cricket. The Chevrons not having good innings at all. Currently, there is a test series ongoing. Today was day 2. The first day Zimbabwe elected to bat, and that ended with 149 all out. And then New Zealand came in and they got 307 all out. And then today Zimbabwe is trailing by 127 runs. But a lot of issues coming out of our guests and issues to do with administration. We had, and I'll repeat, asked and sought to have Zimbabwe cricket representatives in this discussion. Say, but we certainly hope that we will get to a point where we can achieve the best for our cricket and that we see a change in all things. And go Chevrons, go. So this one will take us to the news at 8 o'clock. You're listening to Capi Talk 100.4 FM.